Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nile TV International. Right now, we are going to be taking a look on the presidential activities throughout the second half of January in the following report.
In the second half of the month of January, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held several activities and meetings. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a visit to the military academy, where President el-Sisi started by holding the Fajr prayers at the headquarters of the Egyptian Military Academy. Before observing the morning lineup, the President addressed the Academy students. The President engaged in interactive dialogue with them, as well as discussed several files with students from the medical segment, as well as visited the equestrian sector. He also held an interactive dialogue with them whilst sharing breakfast. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, in his meeting with the Prime Minister and several officials, discussed the state's efforts with regard to the development of the prosthetic devices and the state's efforts through various concerned agencies. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received several muftis and heads of Islamic states and scholars, in addition to an elite cluster of scholars participating in the events of the 36th International Conference of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Also, President el-Sisi met with the Lieutenant General Osama Rabia, Chairman and Managing Director of the Suez Canal Authority, where they discussed the report on the navigation moment in the Suez Canal. Also, the President discussed in a meeting with the head of the Prime Minister and Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources Egypt's vision in this sector. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also witnessed the 74th anniversary of the military anniversary of the Egyptian Police Day, and also witnessed a ceremony celebrating the life of martyrs, including the martyr Rami Hilal. Also, a documentary was aired on the preparations of the Egyptian police. He also addressed the attendees on the occasion of the 74th anniversary of the Egyptian Police Day. He also attended a working luncheon with several heads of organizations. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi took part in the World Economic Forum held in the Swiss town of Davos. He also met the president of the CEO of the World Economic Forum, Borja Brandi. He also participated in a special discussion session within the events of the World Economic Forum. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi met with US President Donald Trump on the sidelines of the event. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held Fajr prayers in Aziz al-Hakim Mosque in Mu'attam area, celebrating the inauguration of the mosque. Also, he held talks with several attendees and witnessed a speech on Isra al-Marag. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received a phone call from the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian. The call reviewed developments related to the Iranian nuclear file. And President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also held a phone call with Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a phone call with His Holiness Pope Tawadros II, head of the Orthodox Church, to check up on his health status after his surgery. And this wraps up the recent activities of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in the second half of the month of January. Thank you for watching.